I've listened to a few different podcasts with you lately. Indubious is a great band, great messages in their music. I know you linked up with them also. But let's talk a little bit, if you don't mind, kind of about spirituality and how.
I'm waiting for it, man. That's what I want to
do.
Good.
Because I'm a noob, I guess, however term you want to put it. Like, I spent a lot of time trying to just grind. I spent years, probably 20 of them, just like, this is the circumstances bullshit, but I'm gonna make it. I'm not good enough, but I'm gonna show them I'm good enough. I am good enough. And it's like, all of a sudden you're doing all this stuff, you're accomplishing all the things you think you want to accomplish, and you look back and you're like, the fuck does it matter if you can't be present to enjoy it, right? So the spirituality for me has moved mountains over the last couple months. Quarantine, I lost my job, I was working at a studio, got the boot. Family was away for a month, actually up in NorCal, with one of my relatives, unfortunately, who's ill. And it was like, I had a month, and I've never had a month, to just sit there and be like, what am I doing? How do I fix this? How do I adjust this? What do I look at? What's the introspect? So I still think I was very blessed to be given the knowledge that I was able to listen to be able to accept it. But I'm always curious, somebody like yourself who's had this as a guide for years, and you've been able to take this and evolve with your own spirituality and the meditation and the vibes and the lyrics and the messages. How do you tap into it? I guess that's not the right question, but yeah, maybe for somebody who doesn't know, like, who says, yeah, that'd be cool, or they hear the lyrics, but they're not listening to the lyrics. Like, how do you kind of take that bridge to gap, words to meaning, if that makes sense?
It makes sense. And what when you're saying talking, I feel like the main thing I'm getting is like, it's presence. It's simply being present. Like when you say, I've been grinding for 20 years and doing this and that and grinding, look back, you're like, yo, I got everything, but I still feel the same. That's the thing. That's the American way. That's the Western way, is to work, sleep, work, sleep, work, die. You know what I'm saying? And it was something I'm learning brand new, and I'll use it as a metaphor, is like in Kung Fu, I practice a lot of Qigong and Tai Chi and stuff, but in Kung Fu practice, there's this thing called Kung Fu Tea, where it's like, now, I just got introduced to this, man. I've been practicing for over 10 years. But my new teacher, he's like, I've been practicing with him for like 2 years, and like every class we drink tea. And you see me I'm drinking pu'er tea right now.
Yeah.
As part of it, because I'm used to it now. It's a part of my daily practice now, and and he's explaining it to him. I was like, what's the science with tea? I'm going to get acupuncture, and the dude's like, yo, sit down, have some tea. And I'm like, and they're like, yo, this is Chinese medicine in a cup. And I'm like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? I'm watching this Bruce Lee, it's like a mini series thing on Netflix, and he's always like, yo, Kung Fu tea. I taught my wife how to make Kung Fu tea. Watch, let's sit and drink tea. And I'm just like, it's a very big cultural thing in Kung Fu and in China. And I'm using this metaphor because it's all about, my Sifu just told me about it the other day, so it's fresh on my mind. But it's basically like, it's a chance to slow down. It's a chance to smell the tea before you boil it. Put it in the pot. Boil the water. You don't want it too hot. You want to pay attention to the needs of the tea. You want to pour the water on the tea and let it sit as you just contemplate, thinking about, when is the tea oh, it's ready now. You want to smell it. Sip it. You're not watching TV. Right. You're not having a bunch of conversations. You're not reading a magazine waiting. You're not rushing off to work. You're sitting with yourself, chilling. It's a meditation. You see what I'm saying? It's a stillness practice. It's being present in the moment. I think that's how you tap into all these things of being spiritual, because we're constantly getting messages from the other side. We're constantly getting messages from the spiritual world, and it's whether we're open enough to receive it. If you peep and trip, motherfuckers that are considered spiritual are usually just sensitive.
Right.
They're just sensitive people who just sit down and like they can, yo, I don't feel this right now, and they dip, and then everybody got hit by some shit. They were just sensitive enough to feel it. They were being present. Some people are blessed with that presence. It's like comes easy to them. A lot of us were hardwired because of this society, or not hardwired, but we're programmed to like constantly think we have to do something to be successful. You have to make money. You have to wear these shoes. You have to have this girl. You have to have this car. You have to do this thing, or else you ain't shit. And like the whole thing about it is, no, you wouldn't, if you weren't shit, you wouldn't be here in the first place. You made it here. You are something.
Right.
You're part of God already. You know what I'm saying? So it's more like unveiling that truth to yourself. That's, I think, and it's the practice of presence, man. It's being with yourself. That's what meditation is all about. It's not about doing, people, I don't know how to meditate. How do I meditate? Sit your ass down and breathe.
Right.
Keep your back straight. Keep your neck straight. And breathe and chill. See what comes up. It's different for everybody. You know what I'm saying? There's many different ways to do it. My practice is breathe, and I let things come up. And it's different, a little bit different every day. I have like a, I'd say like a template that I use. And generally, I use that template when I'm not meditating much. If I'm meditating once or twice a week, I use that template because it's like, I gotta tap into something to get me relaxed.
Right.
Right now, I mean, since my homie passed away 3 weeks ago, I've been meditating 2-3 times a day because I have to. Because I was fucking shook. Like, shit was going on in my life to where it was so intense. I couldn't sleep. Like, when he died, I just couldn't sleep. And that's not me. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally. So I wake up in the middle of the night, like, feel like there's a presence in my room. Feeling like things are trying to communicate with me. Like, wild shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit off the X-Files type shit. I don't know how old you are.
No, I do. I know what you're saying. I've had friends, unfortunately, you know, that have also passed. I mean? And I've been driving in the car. And this is before I went up. So I went up to Sedona here in Arizona because it's a beautiful place. And I thought that would be the right place to go to kind of tap into all this stuff. But there's been times in the car and I'll be just driving and all of a sudden I get chills. I don't got a lot of hair on my arms. I mean, lots of different colors, but not a lot of hair. And I'll be driving and it's like, whoa. And I look and it's just all the hair on my body is raised up. And I would always kind of say, whoever's listening is going to think I'm crazy, but I'm not. And if you think I am, that's okay. But it's like they would come in and it's like, oh, hey. Like, hey, Mike. Hey, Kat. How you doing? Like, I hope you're good. Like, I'm good. And it's like, I don't know. And like, I don't know how long they're going to be there with me. So I say whatever I need to say for a second or feel like they came to me for whatever reason at that time. And I just kind of move on, right? And just keep going. But that was always my thought that there is more. There's going to be something more. And if there's nothing more, and that's what I'm learning now, the lights shut off. That's the end of this chapter. There's a new book, completely new book to be rewritten. It's not everything that's happening right now. And it's just been one of those things that I continue to have some retrospect on now, looking at the situations and trying to learn from that cliche saying that somebody says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Our society is so programmed into that because it's like you lose a job. Let me go get another one. I got to go get a job. I got to go interview. Like, how can I survive without it? It's like, wait a minute. Everything I hated was there.
And then you notice when you say that, you make me think like all the success stories, like what comes to mind right now is Harrison Ford. Like he was a carpenter doing all this shit, blah, 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 blah. Lost his job or something, like, and just randomly took this fucking audition. Right. Became fucking Han Solo. It like the rest of his life was like G'd up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because he just took a chance and he was like, I don't want to. I'm gonna do something different. All the success stories we see about people are people that were like, you know what? I'm through with that. I'm gonna try this. Yeah. Because I feel like people who are successful listen to their spirit. They listen to something that's maybe illogical. It doesn't make sense with having to pay the rent next month or the bills. But there's something about there's more to it, and I'm gonna trust that. And I feel like when you step out and trust that, the universe is like, come on in, thank you. Like, I've been waiting for you, because it's not logical. It's not set up by man. Like, and even the things we experience, like, I really think, and I don't know, like you said, people might think this is weird, but I think like all this COVID shit and people being at home, it's almost like it had me fucked up in the beginning because I was like paranoid like everybody else. I was anxious. I was like, yo, what the fuck is good? What am I was high as fuck for 6 weeks, and I've said this on probably every podcast I've been on lately. Like, I'm just being honest, man, and it's a little bit embarrassing, but I feel like it's necessary to be vulnerable so you can see, so I can be, like I said, authentic. But like, I was shook, and then after a while, I was like, man, I gotta see the silver lining in this shit. Like, yo, I'm not on tour. I'm at home with my kids all the time. I get to see my kids all the time. I'm teaching my children. I'm their teacher now. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is beautiful, actually. Hold on a second. I get to meditate all the time. I get to go see my teacher and do kung fu on a regular basis, even if it's just by myself or a small group of people. I get to tap. And then I'm like, yo, hold on. The whole planet is on retreat. There's animals coming out of the cut. The air is better. Well, not right now because of the smoke and fires, but before. Yeah. And so it's like it was a quiet moment for all of us. So it's like, yo, if you have a spiritual practice, it's great for you. If you don't, it's scary because now you're looking like, what the fuck? Where's my value? Who am I? What makes me important?
You got to deal with the guy in the reflection. You got to
deal with and it's the shadow.
Yeah.
We all have a shadow, and it's like it's time to. For me, it's been time to unveil that shit and look at it like, man, you're a shadow. I don't need you, man. Like you hold me. I mean, I need you because my light comes out of the shadow.
Right.
So yes, it's definitely it's necessary. It's not a part of yourself that you can eliminate totally, but to come to terms with it and be honest with it and like look at it like, bro, why you keep fucking with me? I don't need porn. I don't need drinks every night. I don't need to do heroin or cocaine. I don't need to smoke crack. Why do you keep fucking with me? Who are you? What is this energy you bring into my life that fucking I think it's gonna make me feel better, but I always feel worse. And it's like it's been time for us collectively to deal with that. So I think like it's interesting through this time period, my people that I talk to, and a lot of my people are this way because I'm this way, and I like to surround myself with good people. A lot of my folks are very spiritual.
Yeah.
So I called them up like, yo, how you doing? How you holding up? Yo, I'm blessed. And I'm like, really? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm making music. I got a new mic. I'm going here next month. I've been going to the ocean, and I'm like, damn, all right, you actually are chilling. I talked to my homies after my boy died. All the homies clicked back up. We were all like spiritual brothers from the 90s. And I'm talking to them, like my boys are acupuncturists, and we're sharing our struggle, but it's also like I look at these cats. I saw them last weekend, and I see the light in their eyes. We're all going through it. It's tough, but at the same time, it's like there's a thing inside of us where it's like, but Joe, we was born for this too. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's hard, but we wouldn't be here if we couldn't handle it. Let's go. Let's do this shit we know we're supposed to do. And it's like a challenge, but you're like in the 36 chambers. You're like the dude trying to learn how to master his chi. And like, it's hard. But every time you try again, you learn something new. And you get better and better and better. And I think that's what we're going through. But I think it's very important to realize that there's more to this life than just, capitalism, making money, being cool.
Yeah.
Sitting on your couch, watching ideas programmed to you by other people, or watching the internet and watching other people live their lives. Like, there's more to it.